Hello everyone, it's Rain. Today's video is going to be about blocking. If you've never heard of blocking, it is a term that most of us knitters and crocheters use to even out and kind of finish a piece off. So let's take a look at this swatch I have knitted. It is in stockinette stitch, even with a border of about 4 or 5 rows of garter stitch along the top and bottom. I put a few more rows on the bottom than the top. Even with that, it still wants to curl up on itself because that is just the way of stockinette stitch. Now, this technique will usually work with any natural fiber such as wool, alpaca, mohair, cotton, cashmere, and all of the natural fibers are what we are referring to here. I have not gotten this to work with acrylic. You have to use more of a heat steam method to block acrylic.
But that's another video.
So today we're going to be looking at how to block wool
or other natural fibers like I mentioned before.
What you're going to need today is, of course, your knitted swatch or your garment, your scarf, your shawl, whatever you're blocking, any kind of knit
or crochet garment or swatch that you're wanting to block.
So you need your garment, and you might be wondering why I have a children's ABC block, foam block like this. It's pretty thick. These foam blocks, I believe you get a set of like 30 of them, and you can get them at Walmart, a big superstore like that, for 20 bucks, and you get 30 of these. And you can connect these together and make them any shape you want, and they are way cheaper than the actual foam blocking mats that you get on the knitters websites. I love using these, cheap alternative, and they work just as good, and they're perfect. You can also use it on this side. It's a smooth side, or you can use this side. It has more of a texture to it. And you are also going to need some T-pins or some just regular ball pins like what you see here. I have some of the little ball type, and I also have just the regular T-pins. I just got these at Walmart as well. Either will work just fine. And the last thing you're going to need is some water. We are going to be getting this wet, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of fiber wash with it, or you can just use a drop of Dawn dish liquid or your favorite knitting wash that you use for your delicates and your knitwear. Okay, so right here I have a bowl of just regular room temperature water. You don't want to use hot, so your items do not melt. And I'm going to use a little bit of this unicorn fiber wash right here. Just a drop or two of it will work. You can also use a baby shampoo like this one here, or you can even use a drop of Dawn, but usually Dawn is more of a heavy duty washer. So I would just recommend using a baby shampoo or baby wash, or just whatever you use on your very delicate knitwear. So we're going to go ahead and submerge that. Just add a little drop of that. Make sure you lift your knitwear up before you zhuzh it around. You don't want to zhuzh it around much. And just press that down right in there. Get all of the edges saturated. And I like to give it a nice press to try and get all of the air that's trapped inside of our stitches. Get all that air out, so that way it'll be nice and saturated. And you don't want to agitate it. No agitation, just gentle pressing and gentle movement, just like I'm doing. Get those edges nicely. All right. So that is nice and saturated. I'm going to turn it upside down, so if it tries to curl in on itself, it's going to curl downward and under the water, and not out and out above the water. Just going to leave it right there. And I'm going to let this soak for about 10 minutes. and then I will come back and I will show you what to do next. Okay, so this has been soaking for about 10 minutes now. It's nice and saturated and it's nice and clean now. I'm gonna give it a nice squeeze. Squeeze as much as I can out of it.
Lay that here.
I'm gonna go dump this out and get fresh water in it, fresh room temperature water, and I'm gonna rinse it, and then we will get started on blocking it. All right, here's my fresh clean water I just went and got. I'm going to give this a nice little rinse. The technique I like to use is pretty much just pressing and squeezing while it's submerged under the water the entire time. Remember, room temperature only. Now, if you really want to make sure you get all of the water out of this, you can take a towel and sandwich it between the towel and step on it or press on it really hard.
Or you can throw it in a salad spinner and spin the water out, which is what I'm going to do.
So I put that in the spin dryer for just a second and spun out most of the water that I could get. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay it out flat, get our T-pins ready. Our aim with blocking is to even out all of the edges and make sure that it's not going to roll on itself anymore. And I like to just start in one corner, find a nice little spot and stick your T-pin in. And then we're going to go to the next corner. We're going to go to the next corner. So I like to do it a little bit roughly at first. Here's what we have now. So you could leave it like this, but I want it to be perfect, as perfectly square as we can possibly get it. So I'm just going to kind of pull it down with my fingers a little bit and find a nice spot and just go all the way around each side. And if you end up having to move the corners a little bit, you can do that. And I always try not to go inside of the yarn itself. I try to like find a little hole in between the stitches to go through. Just try not to stretch it too far because you don't want it to get, you know, really stretched out of shape. You just want to kind of make it to where it looks like it would be natural. Like you want the stitches to all lay nice and flat and make it lay the way that you want it to lay. A lot of times with sweaters, hand knit sweaters, and say your gauge might be a little bit off or the fit is a little bit off, a lot of times you can wash it and block it and you can get the fit exactly the way you want it
just by blocking it alone.
Here is our finished blocked swatch. I'm going to go ahead and get you a close-up. So as you can see, it is nice and flat, nice and even. And we are going to leave this in an area that no children or pets can get to. I don't have pets right now, but I do have 2 babies. So make sure you put this in an area that none of your pets or your children can get to. And we're going to let this dry. I usually let it dry for about 2 full days.
Depending on the size and the wetness of your piece,
you might need to let it dry a little longer, or it might not even take that long. I will come and show you what it looks like after it's done. But before we do that, I do want to show you something that I have blocked and that made all of the difference. If I had not blocked this, it would not look nearly like it does now. So this is my lace knit scarf. This was knit in the same exact hand spun yarn that I just blocked, that our swatch is. As you can see, it has a beautiful way about it so that it makes these little edges that come out at each section that the pattern makes the lace. As you can see, the ends kind of have like a little flare to them. You can really see it on this one. This end has a little flare to it like that. That's the way I blocked it. It all comes from the way you block it. And you can look at the back here especially. When I finished knitting it, it kind of looked like this and it was kind of curled in on itself. But with the magic of blocking, we've got it to lay the way that it's supposed to lay so that you can see all of that beautiful lace work and all of our pattern and the edges come out exactly the way it's supposed to. So that is the magic of blocking, and it is a game changer, especially if you're into lace. I cannot recommend it enough for lace, because you're going to pick a lace pattern and be like, oh man, I want to knit this. It's going to be gorgeous. And then you finish it and it's not going to look anything like the picture. And you just have to block it. You have to block it out and make those lace areas pull apart and pull open so that you can see the individual lace stitches like I have in this scarf. So I hope I was able to explain that properly, and let's take a look at how our swatch is doing.
So through the magic of editing, we are going to go to 2 days later when our swatch is ready.
Okay, everybody. It's been about 2 days now, and our swatch is completely dry. So we are going to go ahead and remove all of the little T-pins and see how our swatch looks now. We have removed all of our little T-pins, and now this is what our beautiful swatch looks like. You can immediately tell the difference already with the stockinette stitch and the border. It lays completely flat. It is the exact shape that we blocked it into, and I can take it and squish it up, scrunch it up, whatever, and it's going to go right back to that same flat shape that we blocked it into. This is one of the absolutely extraordinary properties of wool that I love. Just a little bit of water will reset your fiber and reset the crimp so that you can block your pieces, and even if your gauge is a little bit off or your swatch is curling up on itself like mine was, you can block it out as long as it's wool, just like I said, a natural fiber.
So let's do a little test here. I wanted to roll it up to see if it would keep rolling back up on itself after blocking. And as you can see, it pulls itself right back out into the shape we blocked it in. So that is so awesome. Alright you guys, I'm going to end this video with a little before and after. You can check out the before and after shots of this swatch. And I hope you guys have at least learned one little thing. Even if you learn one thing, I'm going to be happy. So, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Leave me a like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe for more. I will see you guys next week. I love each and every one of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.